Welcome to the second video in our BiteWISe series looking at the process of turning your PhD thesis into a monograph. This video provides a step-by-step guide to choosing a publisher and highlights some of the things you might want to consider. Subsequent titles in the series will look at other key areas such as writing a proposal and managing your relationship with your publisher. Or for a general overview of the process, see the first guide in the series, Turning Your Thesis into a Monograph. Particularly if your PhD is part of a larger research project, you may already know how and where your PhD will be published. However, if you are planning to turn your thesis into a monograph and you are not sure where to start, you may find it useful to work through these 5 steps. Step 1. Firstly, you need to decide what you want from your publisher. Before deciding which publisher to approach, it may be helpful to consider what you would like to get from any potential relationship. Reputation. How important is your publisher's reputation? In some disciplines, you may find there is an expectation that you will publish with a very select number of highly regarded commercial publishers or university presses. But if your subject is very niche, a smaller university press, not-for-profit, or specialist publisher may be a better fit. Bear in mind that a prestigious publisher is more likely to reject your proposal. Reach. Does your book have a specific geographical locus, or would it appeal to an international audience? Do you need a publisher who can sell it into more than one market, or would an in-depth knowledge of a particular publishing landscape be more valuable? Timeliness. In some disciplines, things move on very quickly. Do you need to find a publisher who can turn your monograph around in the shortest time possible, or can you afford to wait for the right offer? Step 2. Identify which publisher or publishers to approach. Once you know what your own priorities are, you can start to think about which publishers you should be approaching. In addition to the questions you've already answered around reputation, reach and timeliness, there are a number of other areas you might want to consider. Suitability. Does the publisher have a strong track record of publishing in your particular area? If so, they are more likely to be interested in your proposal. It is also important that your publisher understands your audience and how best to market your monograph to them. If your work fits into an existing series, this can also work to your advantage. Format. How are their books formatted, and does that work for your topic? You might want to look at things such as standard lengths, how they handle diagrams and illustrations, and if you need it, whether they offer colour printing. Model. Will your book be available electronically, in print, or both? Some publishers may offer a print-on-demand service, where a book is available electronically, but can be provided in printed form if requested. Because of the difference in production methods, print-on-demand titles may be of inferior quality, particularly when it comes to images. So if this is the publisher's preferred model, consider whether they are right for your book. As an additional aside, do be wary of publishers approaching you, particularly if they are asking you to pay to publish with them. So-called vanity publishing may appear tempting, particularly if you are looking to publish your book quickly, but there is usually no quality control or review process, and because the publisher makes their money from author fees, they will often have little interest in marketing your book. Publishing with a vanity publisher may even damage your reputation with other scholars in your field. Step 3. Do your research. Once you have identified a publisher that matches your criteria, the main areas to consider are author relations. Use your network of contacts to find out as much as you can about the way the publisher likes to work with their authors. Remember that not everyone's experience will be positive, but if all the feedback you receive is negative, this might set off alarm bells. Upfront costs. There are some costs that usually won't be covered by your publisher, such as acquiring and paying for copyright clearances for third-party materials. However, some publishers will also ask for direct payments or publication subsidies to cover such things as design costs, copy editing, and typesetting and indexing. This may be something you need to take into account. Advice and guidelines. Most publishers will have guidelines for authors and prospective authors, which should provide clear instructions as to how to lay out a book proposal and how to submit it. Make sure you know what the publisher needs from you and gather as much information as you can before making an approach. You may find at the end of this process that one publisher emerges as an obvious frontrunner. However, there is still a chance they may reject your proposal, so it's worthwhile making a shortlist. Step 4. Make initial contact. Most commissioning editors are happy to talk to prospective authors, so unless the publisher's website indicates otherwise, it's worth making informal contact before sending a formal proposal. If they're really not interested, they should let you know at this stage, and you can move on to the next publisher on your list. Before you make contact, choose your method. Approaches don't always have to be made by email. If you know a particular publisher is going to be represented at a conference, you may be able to make your first contact in person. Find your target. Whenever possible, find out the name of the person you need to contact and address them directly. They are more likely to respond to something that is personally addressed, and it shows that you have done your homework. Tailor your approach. Make it clear why you have chosen this particular publisher and why the book you are pitching would suit their portfolio. Although you can approach more than one publisher at a time, avoid sending generic emails to lots of different publishers and don't submit multiple proposals at the same time, as this can cause unnecessary complications. Step 5. Finalise your proposal as soon as possible. If the publisher indicates an interest in your proposal, it's best to follow it up as quickly as you can, while your conversation is fresh in their mind. If you've done your research in advance, you should already have the information you need to finalise your proposal, incorporating any feedback you've received from the publisher. We'll look at writing a proposal in more depth in the next video in the series. Thank you for listening to this short guide on choosing a publisher, and look out for more videos in the BiteWISe Thesis to Monograph series.